Here's what's coming up on today's show.
Something needs to be done, but I can assure you if things keep going the way they are, then costs are going to keep going up and up, and it's going to become unaffordable for most people.
Hello, this is Mark Silverman, managing member and founder of Silverman & Associates, and I'm also a certified financial planner professional. I want to welcome you to the Saving with Silverman podcast. I'm glad you're here. Each week, we'll discuss different financial planning topics because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
Fun fact of the week here, Mark Silverman, and I don't know how much fun it is actually, but how much do you walk? Do you have one of those things that counts all your mileage and your steps and all that?
Well, I wear an Apple Watch. I do most of my working out at the gym, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Walking is great, though.
Yeah.
I'll sometimes walk on a treadmill, or I'll use an exercise bike, that sort of thing, or elliptical.
Yeah.
But probably I walk, but probably not enough, right?
Walking is one of
the best things you can do.
Easiest and best things you can do, and I don't do nearly as much of it as I should. But
I don't think anybody does.
I was reading this week that people in Africa and Asia, on average, walk an average of 3.7 miles a day to collect water.
Wow.
And that's not everybody, of course.
Right.
But those who have to do that, it's over 3.5 miles. My.
That's a long ways to walk. But I guess, and that's something you can't just say, hey, I don't feel like walking today, because if you don't get any water.
You got to have water. So that's for sure. Hey, let's talk about some questions that you might not be able to answer. And if we all knew the answer to all these questions, planning for retirement would certainly be a lot easier. Explain how you construct a plan that addresses these questions that we can't possibly know the answer to ourselves. And here's one that you get all the time when people come in and ask you, Mark, when's the next market crash going to happen? How do you help those folks understand why that's a question you can't answer? And what do you do to make sure that folks are prepared no matter what happens?
I think most people realize market corrections are normal, and you can't avoid them. You can't time the market. It's impossible. And so, just understanding, risk and reward, and being in a portfolio that's not taking too much risk, that's taking the amount of risk that, one's going to keep you on track for your goals, and two, that you can stomach, meaning, when the market does go down, that you're not going to freak out and want to get out and sell. So it's being in a portfolio that is going to sustain for the long term, and understanding that, and having somebody like us or whoever to work with that can build you a portfolio that over time is going to grow and keep you ahead of inflation, et cetera. And so that's the thing, and that's going to keep you invested, so when the market corrections happen, you don't freak out, and that's what we're here for. As I tell people, clients need us more during down markets than they do up markets.
Mm-hmm. And there are some folks out there, do-it-yourselfers, who try to time the market, and that doesn't work, because
it doesn't work, and they'll eventually
twice.
Learn that, you'll end up in a worse spot than you did before you started.
Yeah. Next question here that folks can't answer is, what will healthcare costs look like 20 years from now? We know that it's astronomically high now, but who knows what it's going to be like.
It's going to be higher. Even these health insurance companies don't even know. That's why they keep changing premiums and pricing and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The cost of drugs. There's so many different variables, especially in this country. Healthcare is a mess.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the solution is, but what we're doing now, I can tell you, is not working. And so something needs to be done, but I can assure you if things keep going the way they are, then costs are going to keep going up and up, and it's going to become unaffordable for most people.
Some of these commercials on TV, when I'd be watching a football game or something, don't take blank if you're allergic to blank. How are you going to know that you're allergic to it unless you take it,
Right.
Insane.
I hate to say it, but big pharma, health insurance companies, their lobbyists are kind of what's the reason why we're in this mess. They're the ones leading the charge in this, and they're controlling our country.
100% correct.
And so how do you change things when they're the ones throwing money at, these lobbyists and politicians?
And lots of times you hear a medication, they'll spend the first 15 seconds talking about how great it is, and then the next 30 seconds talking about all the side effects that you get, even death. And then then they come back for another 15 seconds and talk about how great it is again.
Right.
You know?
Well, because then you can take another pill to fix what the side effects are, right?
Yeah.
So it's just another way to make money for all these companies. It's horrible.
Another question here is, what will your tax rate be 3 presidents from now? We don't even know what the tax rate's going to be, a few years from now, but 3 presidents from now? Come on.
No, it's going to be higher, I think, next year. I mean, it has to be. With our national debt just keep growing and growing, and the amount of money that they're spending, it's going to be higher. It has to be. Yeah. So it's just being smart about it. And that's one of the services we provide as far as tax planning is concerned, and just understanding you're going to have to pay taxes, but there's some ways where you could, legally pay less by being smart and being proactive with what you're doing rather than just, doing what you want to do and then filing and paying whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just being proactive and making some better decisions, and that's what we can help with.
That's another good reason to call Mark Silverman, because
Absolutely.
He takes everything into consideration. There are some financial people out there who don't even talk about taxes or Social Security or anything.
They're just looking to sell an annuity or an insurance product or just make a commission, quite honestly. That's all they're salespeople.
Yeah.
So
another question, and this is something we've talked about literally hundreds of times in all the years we've been doing this show, is how long are you going to live? Basically, longevity is something that is increasing. We're living longer these days, generally speaking, than folks used to live, but you don't know the exact answer to that question. If you did, it would be a lot easier to plan.
No, exactly. So we use numbers, and we can base it on what year you were born. We can get an estimate as far as how long you're expected to live. If you're terminally ill, then we may want to adjust it for that. But, as you just said, people are living longer. Not necessarily healthier, but they're living longer. So, healthcare costs are going to go up too, because people are in nursing homes, et cetera. And so you've got to be able to pay for that. So just understanding that so you don't run out of money.
There are some people out there listening to the show today who may have some of these same questions that we talked about here, and they want to get some answers to their questions. What happens when you get somebody together on that complimentary call?
Just send us, call us, send us a text. We'll get you on the calendar to speak with me directly, and I'll answer any questions that you have. If we determine that we're a good fit, we can talk about next steps and that sort of thing. But nothing really happens until you reach out. I can tell you, I believe I'm still the only CFP that's on the radio here in Tucson. As you probably are aware, everybody else on here is trying to sell you either an annuity or some type of crazy insurance product to earn a commission, and that's not what we do. We're in the advice business, not product business. So if you don't like what you've heard from other people and you want something different, reach out, and we're happy to help.
You've been listening to the Saving with Silverman podcast. If you have any questions at all about your financial situation, please give Mark Silverman a call. Again, his number is 520-333-7601, or go online to savingwithsilverman.com. For Mark Silverman, I'm Ron Stutz. We'll see you next time on the Saving with Silverman podcast.
The Saving with Silverman podcast is brought to you by Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, based in Tucson, Arizona. The show is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and everywhere you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show on your favorite app today and never miss an episode. Just search for Saving with Silverman to find us, or visit savingwithsilverman.com to listen to past episodes, to contact Mark, and to learn more about how to make smarter decisions with your money.
Did you know that Mark Silverman also has a radio show? Tune in to Saving with Silverman Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. on AM 790 KNST.
All matters discussed on this show are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed are solely those of Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, and staff. All topics covered are believed to be from reliable sources. However, Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC makes no representation as to its accuracy or completeness. This show shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or investment advisory services to residents of any state other than Arizona or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Fee-based financial planning and investment advisory services offered through Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Arizona. Insurance products and services are offered through Silverman & Associates, an affiliated company.